Hello and welcome to the Nation at 5. I'm Anand Narsiman. Ladies and gentlemen, we start with the national capital, the state of Delhi, where the big story comes from. In about 10 days, there has been a tenfold rise in daily number of cases. Over the last 24 hours, Delhi has seen a surge of at least 17,000 cases. That's the number that we're looking at, and that's the reason why the national capital is going into a relock mode on the weekends. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, after consultations with the LG, taking the decision that there will be a weekend lockdown starting and it will be implemented from Saturday onwards, and it will be implemented till Monday morning. That's what we are given to understand. Only essential services will be allowed to be plying and to move around. And the other aspect is weekly markets have been restricted to one per area. Cinema halls will function going forward at 30%. All malls, gyms, and of course spas, all of them have been shut down till further notice. That's the situation right now. Arvind Kejriwal coming out and also saying that movement of individuals in the National Capital Territory and also around Delhi will be applicable till the 30th or until further orders. The other aspect is there will be no outdoor dining, home delivery will be allowed, but most importantly, he has come out and said that on the weekdays you have to go ahead and ply your wares for earning your livelihood. We will allow that, but there will be strict laws in place and rules that will be put in place to ensure that COVID protocols, model COVID code is followed. That is of social distancing, of wearing masks, of keeping the surroundings clean, and also to be regularly being in an environment that is sanitized and not crowding at too many places. This is the marriage season, he's gone on to say, but marriages will be allowed, attendance will be limited. Listen in to what Arvind Kejriwal said.
वीकेंड के ऊपर कर्फ्यू दिल्ली के अंदर लगाया जाएगा। इसका कारण ये है कि लगभग हफ्ते के दौरान, वर्किंग डेज़ के दौरान आदमी को अपनी कमाई करने के लिए जाना होता है, आदमी को अपने काम पे जाना होता है। लेकिन वीकेंड में अक्सर जो लोग निकलते हैं वो अपने एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए या दूसरी एक्टिविटीज़ के लिए निकलते हैं, जो कि कर्टेल की जा सकती है, जो कि जिसके ऊपर अंकुश लगाया जा सकता है। उससे बहुत ज़्यादा लोगों को दिक्कत नहीं होनी चाहिए। इसीलिए चेन तोड़ने के लिए वीकेंड के ऊपर, ताकि लोग ज़्यादा संपर्क में ना आए, वीकेंड के ऊपर कर्फ्यू लगाया जा रहा है।
Nikhil Lakhwani joining us from Malviya Nagar, and Prashasthi Shandilia is in Sarojini Nagar. Sarojini Nagar, Malviya Nagar, busy, bustling areas. And Nikhil and Prashasthi, you've been up and about, you and your VJs. Please be careful, stay safe. Yes, the protocols allow the journalists to ply their wares because we are doing an important job. The Delhi government has also gone ahead and requested the centre that journalists be moved into the category of frontline workers so that all of us can get vaccinated even as we go about doing our duties. The Editors Guild has also written to the centre. But let's understand what's the situation on ground. Prashasthi, how are people responding? Do you see COVID protocols being followed? Do you see people wearing masks? Do you see people being concerned about the rising COVID cases in Delhi, or are they merely offering lip service?
Well, hello and good evening, Anand. Of course, we are seeing violations and laxity here. I'm bringing in some visuals from one of the busiest markets of the capital, Sarojini Nagar, of course. And what we are trying to show our viewers is that there is a clear violation of the norms of COVID-appropriate behavior. We are seeing violations of the norms of social distancing and respiratory hygiene. Masks are being put on only to avoid the hefty challan of ₹2,000 in the capital. And Anand, this perhaps is the reason why Delhi government came up with the strict stand of imposing weekend curfew in the national capital, because clearly people are blatantly violating the norms required to contain the spread of the virus. But meanwhile, there is another aspect related to this particular weekend lockdown, that there are apprehensions that are being raised by the shopkeepers here. The shopkeepers, Anand, apparently believe that because of the imposition of weekend lockdown, they might incur losses. Meanwhile, I have some of the shopkeepers here. सर ये बताइए कि शनिवार इतवार को मार्केट्स बंद रहेंगे, ऐसे में क्या कहना है आपका?
मैम, और तो पूरे हफ्ते में काम नहीं होता था, लेकिन 2 दिन ऐसा था कि शनिवार इतवार को दाल रोटी चल जाती थी। देख लीजिए, आप खड़े हो, ये लॉकडाउन से क्या कम है, अभी बोहनी नहीं हुआ लोगों का। तो सरकार को इसको सोचना चाहिए। गंभीर समस्या तो है कि ये कोरोना वायरस बहुत गंभीर समस्या है, लेकिन जो सब्जी मंडियों में देखो 4 बजे से भीड़ होती है, कोई मास्क नहीं लगा रहा है। बाज़ार में तो लोग फॉलो भी कर रहे हैं। तो कम से कम दुकानदारों के लिए भी सरकार को तो सोचना चाहिए कि इनको भी कुछ मदद किया जाए। हम सब इतने सालों से बैठे हैं, हमारी सबकी कोरोना में 1 रुपये की मदद नहीं की गई है कि हम सब भूखे हैं कि जिंदा हैं कि मर गए। तो सरकार की क्या जिम्मेदारी नहीं बनती है कि हमारे सबके दुख सुख में देखें? कि हम तैयार हैं, सरकार के फैसला जो कर रही ठीक है, लेकिन हमारी सबको तो मदद होनी चाहिए। हमारे सबको भी सरकार को आनी चाहिए, सर्वे करके देखना चाहिए।
Well, of course, Anand, these are the concerns and apprehensions of the shopkeepers.
No,
Clearly,
no, they have a fair point. No, they have a fair point, Prashasti. But the fact of the matter is that in a market like Sarojini Nagar, at a time when there are 17,000 cases, is there even there any COVID concern around you? Look at the crowds which are around there. Aren't they risking themselves? And a lot of them are wearing masks, but half. Either it is there up to their on the only mouth, the nose is not covered, or it is hanging around their chin. And they're walking about. They just don't care. Now, if they don't care, there will be a surge for COVID. And gyms, spas, malls, they will have to pay for it. Look at Nikhil, I see you somewhere in a gym and that's been shut down. Fitness, if you are fit, you will have better immunity. But the first thing that has been shut down is a gym because it's a closed space and people could actually transmit the virus to people, and if there are infected people coming in. What are the gym owners saying? How are they reacting? What are the gym goers saying?
So Anand, currently we are inside a gym in Malviya Nagar, and the order passed by the Delhi government says that all the gyms and all the shops, all the malls, spas and everything, they are to be shut until further orders. And until 30th of April, these are not allowed to operate. Only the essential, services will be allowed to operate on this while. So this is the last day when these are the people who are, doing exercise as of now. But starting from tomorrow, nobody will be allowed to enter in these gyms. We are joined by Chirag Sethi, who is the owner of this gym and vice president of Delhi Gyms Association. Sir, you are the one who knows best the importance of health and business at the same time. So what is your take regarding the government's decision, for the curfew lockdown?
So in this situation, we were anyway the last ones to open up. Now we only had opened for about 4 months, and now another lockdown has come. Had taken loans to start the gym again. Now we are into debts again. Last time we were started at zero, now we are starting in a negative growth. So now it has a very bad impact on the industry, since we will now we don't have any option. We'll just have to shut the gym because there is no financial package for the gym. There is no financial help for the gym. There is no reduction in the GST. There is nothing for the gym owners. But we are always the first ones to get shut down.
But Chirag, coming at this particular time when things were getting back to normalcy, and now again this is a decision that is actually going to hamper your particular. With the surge in the coronavirus cases, this decision was the need of the hour.
So regarding the coronavirus situation, we had maintained all the SOPs. Everybody on the floor was wearing masks and the sanitization was happening. But you also have to understand, we live in a country where the resources are limited. You have to work on immunity. The best thing that could have worked on immunity, we're just shutting that down. We're not promoting exercise, we're not promoting healthy eating, we're not promoting health, but we are saying the corona cases are going up. Is there any proof that any gym in India or any gym in Delhi is a hotspot for coronavirus? No. No rallies are a hotspot for coronavirus. No other place.
Nikhil, why don't you quickly ask him? I know you can hear me. Just quickly ask Chirag. Has there been any case of COVID in the gym? Patients, people who have come there with COVID, or they have suddenly declared they've had COVID?
Any case of the coronavirus from this particular gym or any of the in general?
No, absolutely no. The staff is very heart and healthy, and they're still coming. They're all healthy. The members who are coming, they're all healthy. No case of coronavirus from any gym, I'm saying. Not just from this gym, but from any gym.
Okay, so clearly, Anand, Chirag is not very happy with the decision taken by the Delhi government.
Well,
so we are showing
there
you
is
the
a logic
visuals.
and a counter
As of
to
now,
it, because you see
SOPs
around
in
the gym itself, there are at least 15-20 people. Even if one of them is asymptomatic, he or she can actually give it to others. But the other aspect, counterfact, is that the COVID-19 actually attacks your lungs. So if you don't have ability to get onto that treadmill or to get your heart rate up to about 140, 150 clicks, then how is it that you're going to enter the gym in the first place? So So gym owners there upset the fact that fitness, which is important to be able to be immune and to fight this virus, is being compromised because the concern is that there should not be anybody who enters and turns up to be a super spreader. But what about markets like Sarojini Nagar? They have not been shut down, Prashasti. Look at the number of people around you. So no threat of
Well,
COVID-19
clearly,
there,
Anand,
but in a
number of
gym it
people
is.
here. Of course. A big concern here in the markets. Of course, we see a number of people in the markets, and the contrast has been inevitably visible from panic buying last year to casual shopping sprees now, and definitely more and more visuals pouring in. Anand, I'm bringing in more visuals. Well, you see this particular street full of people, clearly not complying with the norms of social distancing. No healthy distance is being maintained here as well. So there are concerns, there are apprehensions, of course. The traders have their own respect, the traders have their own apprehensions, but it is imperative at this moment to ask the people to adhere to the COVID appropriate behavior, which they clearly are not. The laxity apparently is one of the reasons for the steady rise in the number of COVID cases. And we've been covering different areas from around the national capital. We covered Okhla Mandi, we covered Connaught Place, we covered different markets, and everywhere we saw people blatantly violating the COVID protocols. So this apparently is the reason why we are seeing, the numbers rising. The numbers speak volume. More than 17,000 cases in the capital in last 24 hours. And now we are seeing people still roaming around in the markets, violating the norms laid down by the Union Health Ministry. Definitely the traders are saying that they might incur huge losses further, but it's important to save lives now. 104 deaths in last 24 hours, approximately an average of 4 deaths per hour. So it's a serious concern now. The things are getting grimmer in the capital, and at this point of time, it's especially imperative
between life and livelihood, and today people are saying we want to earn our livelihood and we can't compromise on our livelihood even if it is a risk to life. And that's perhaps, Prashasti and Nikhil, thank you very much for your input. Stay safe. To your VJs also, great job done. Stay safe. The fact is, ladies and gentlemen, when it was the first wave, people did not know the mortality. People did not know how to deal with this virus. Now what is happening is people are now being a little cavalier in their attitude because they have seen that the mortality with this disease is not very high. So they're willing to risk their life in order to get livelihood. Now, is that fair? Is that the right thing to do? Or should people follow the protocols and then go about their business? Can we engineer a sociological, a behavioral change amongst ourselves for a new normal? That's what we need to ask ourselves. Listen into some of the other reactions that have come in from the likes of Kate and also one of the restaurant owners. Restaurants now, they're saying dining there, dining out, no, in the national capital. You can order food, but no more dining out. Listen in.
Sir, the decision taken by the Delhi government, how do you see it?
Well, it's going to be very tough for the restaurants. This position should not have been reached. We should have been able to control it about 2 months ago when the cases were less than 100 at one point of time. But there were too many liberties taken by the political parties who wanted to do their elections. They wanted religious gatherings to take place. If that was not done today, the position might have been different.
But sir, regarding the decision, do you think that this was the need of the hour?
Well, the need of the hour has been created by mismanagement by all the governments of state governments of India as well as the central government.
दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री श्री अरविंद केजरीवाल के बीच बातचीत के बाद दिल्ली में वीकेंड कर्फ्यू लगाया गया है। दिल्ली के व्यापारी इस कदम को बड़ा सही कदम मानते हैं, लेकिन हमारा ये कहना है कि जिस प्रकार से, जिस तेजी के साथ, जिस बेतहाशा वृद्धि के साथ दिल्ली में कोरोना बढ़ रहा है, कल 18,000 केस दिल्ली के अंदर हो गए हैं, उनको देखते हुए जब तक दिल्ली में 7 से 10 दिन का लॉकडाउन नहीं लगाया जाएगा, तब तक ये चेन ब्रेक नहीं होगी। तो जैसा पिछले लॉकडाउन में दिल्ली के व्यापारियों ने किया था, इस बार भी हम कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ेंगे और हर व्यक्ति तक आवश्यक वस्तुओं की सप्लाई तुरंत पहुंच जाए, इस बात का ध्यान हम रखेंगे।
We're cutting across to news coming through from Andhra Pradesh, which is now witnessing the highest single-day spike of more than 5,086 cases. This is the highest single-day spike this year in 2021. We'll try and go across to Swastika for more details. Yes, Swastika.
That's right, Anand. Andhra Pradesh has recorded a grim milestone, registering over 5,000 cases in the last 24 hours and 14 deaths. The positivity rate in Andhra Pradesh is over 6%, which is higher than the national average of 5.3%. So certainly a huge concern for authorities there. And this spike comes amid images and videos of Ugadi celebrations, where we saw people from different districts in Andhra Pradesh violating COVID norms and engaging in celebrations, turning up in thousands of numbers and not wearing masks and maintaining social distancing. So currently, the total positive or active tally of the state stands at over 31,000, and the spike was registered in a matter of 2 weeks. So within 2 weeks, Andhra went from having cases in 500s to directly 5,086. So that indeed is a very big concern.
The positivity
at the
rate
moment,
is being
Anand.
set about 6.5%. What are the number of tests? What is the rate of testing? Is Andhra Pradesh
Andhra
testing
claims
aggressively?
Right. Andhra claims to be testing at a high rate. It says that we've been testing at least 15 lakh samples a day, and their numbers are only third or fourth when you compare it with the national tally. But having said that, what really comes as a big challenge at the moment are these localized outbreaks. Remember, 5,000 cases registered in the last 24 hours is mainly because 70% of these cases are being contributed from 5 different districts of Andhra Pradesh: Guntur, West Godavari, Krishna district and Chittoor district, to name a few, where over 500 cases in each district have been registered in the last 24 hours. So which is why the positivity rate is over 6%, which is higher than the national average of 5.3%.
Right. Well, concerns there arising now, more states adding to the COVID caseload. We'll come back to the story in just a bit. Just shifting focus and going across to Amit Malviya of the BJP, who's conducting a press conference on the video that he had tweeted earlier in the day on the Cooch Behar violence.
आह्वान को पूरा करने का और उस इलाके में बहुसंख्यक समाज वोट ना कर सके, इसलिए भय का माहौल पैदा करने की कोशिश करी गई। इसके बाद उन्हीं लोगों ने, जिन लोगों ने आनंद बर्मन को मारा, उन्हीं लोगों ने सेंट्रल पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस के जो सैनिक वहां तैनात थे उन पर और बूथ नंबर 126 उस पर हमला किया और बूथ कैप्चर करने का भी प्रयास किया। इस बात को कूच बिहार के एसपी ने और बूथ पर जो पोलिंग ऑफिसर्स थे उन दोनों ने सही ठहराया। यहां तक कि बूथ पर हमला होने के बाद वहां जो रिटर्निंग ऑफिसर्स थे उनके साथ मारपीट करी गई, कईयों को चोट भी आई। उन रिटर्निंग ऑफिसर्स ने बाद में मीडिया से बात करते हुए इस बात को दोहराया कि किस प्रकार एक समुदाय विशेष के लोगों ने वहां पर आकर बूथ पर हमला किया और बूथ को कैप्चर करने की कोशिश करी। सवाल ये उठता है कि ममता बनर्जी ने 8 अप्रैल को वहां जाकर जो आह्वान किया और जिसके आधार पर उनकी पार्टी से जुड़े कार्यकर्ताओं ने शीतलकुची क्षेत्र में एक भय का माहौल पैदा करने की कोशिश करी। उन्होंने आनंद बर्मन को मार दिया। इतना सब हो जाने के बावजूद जब ममता बनर्जी वहां गईं तो उनके मुंह से आनंद बर्मन के लिए संवेदना का एक शब्द नहीं निकला। उनके लिए सेंट्रल पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस के लिए भी, जिन्होंने इस चुनाव को फ्री और फेयर बनाने के लिए एक भूमिका निभाई है,
उन पे हुए हमले की निंदा भी नहीं करी और उन लोगों के घर गई और उन लोगों के साथ खड़ी दिखाई दी जिन्होंने शीतलकुची में इस भय के माहौल को जन्म दिया। कहीं न कहीं ममता बनर्जी ने शीतलकुची में इस प्रकार का तनावपूर्ण माहौल पैदा हो उसके लिए अपने कार्यकर्ताओं को उकसाया और बाद में उनका समर्थन करने शीतलकुची भी गई। ये बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है कि एक प्रदेश में एक घटना में 5 लोगों की मृत्यु होती है और वहां की मुख्यमंत्री मरने वालों के लिए संवेदना उनका धर्म देखकर जताती है। जिस प्रकार से आनंद बर्मन के परिवार वालों को डरा धमकाकर उनकी सभा में लाने का प्रयास किया गया वो भी निंदनीय है। इससे ये स्पष्ट होता है कि ममता बनर्जी का बंगाल के दलित समाज के प्रति क्या रवैया है। उन्होंने आज तक अपनी पार्टी के नेत्री सुजाता मंडल के उस बयान का जिसमें उन्होंने बंगाल के दलित समाज को भिखारी बताया उसका खंडन नहीं किया है, उसकी निंदा नहीं की है। ममता बनर्जी कहीं न कहीं चुनाव में हिंसा को बढ़ावा दे रही हैं। तुष्टीकरण और ध्रुवीकरण इस प्रदेश में चाहती हैं ताकि उनको चुनाव में लाभ हो। उनके उस बयान के लिए जिसमें उन्होंने मुस्लिम समाज को एक साथ आकर वोट करने की अपील करी, उस पर इलेक्शन कमीशन ने उन पर प्रतिबंध भी लगाया। एक प्रदेश की मुख्यमंत्री के लिए इससे बड़ी दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण बात और क्या हो सकती है। तो कहीं ना कहीं ममता बनर्जी का प्रयास निरंतर चुनाव में हिंसा हो, भय का माहौल हो और ध्रुवीकरण हो, यह उनका लक्ष्य रहा है। और हमारी ऐसी अपेक्षा है कि मुख्यमंत्री अपने पद को, अपने स्तर को समझेंगी और इस प्रकार की राजनीति से बचेंगी। और जिस प्रकार के बयान उनकी पार्टी ने दलित समाज के प्रति और आनंद बर्मन के परिवार के प्रति जो उनकी उपेक्षा देखी गई है उसके बारे में भी वो विचार करेंगी। लेकिन कल जो ये वीडियो आया है उससे ये बात बिल्कुल स्पष्ट हो जाती है कि सीआईएसएफ ने जो कार्रवाई करी वो आत्मरक्षा में थी। पोलिंग एजेंट्स जो 126 बूथ पर थे उन पर हमला हुआ। कूच बिहार के एसपी ने इस बात की और इस पूरे प्रकरण की पुष्टि करी है। ऐसे में ममता बनर्जी को प्रदेश की जनता को गुमराह करने के लिए उनसे माफी मांगनी चाहिए। I'll repeat this in English. The unfortunate incident that happened on 10th of April
Amit Malviya, the BJP co-in-charge West Bengal, making serious allegations there. The BJP and Amit Malviya himself had tweeted visuals which they claimed was of booth number 126, where they have clearly shown that it was the central forces that were attacked in the first place. There was a clear attempt to try and capture the booth, and now claiming that Anand Burman was dragged out to try and intimidate the Hindu votes and the Hindu voters in that region and create a communal strife between Hindus and Muslims. That's the direct charge that he's made against the Trinamool Congress, and saying that it is Mamata Banerjee who has provoked all of them, and now they're trying to play politics around it. We will take this up later tonight on The Right Stand as a debate and a face-off between the BJP and the Trinamool. But right now, let's focus on the vaccination effort, ladies and gentlemen. One of the things which is going to help us, along with wearing a mask, and as Dr. Sanjeev Bagai had tweeted very rightly, he said there are two options. First is get yourself vaccinated, first dose, mask up. Then wait for your turn, wait for 6 weeks, go back, get your second dose and continue to wear the mask. That's the only way we're going to be able to break this entire COVID surge and break the chain and also get on top of this pandemic. Meanwhile, 33 lakh doses have been administered in the last 24 hours. That's the update coming through. 1.28 crore vaccination doses were given out in the last 4 days, which is part of the entire Tika Utsav initiative as called upon by the Prime Minister himself. The government has reported 60% of the cumulative doses given so far in 8 states: Kerala, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan and Maharashtra. The report also states that 5 states account for 67.16% of India's total cases so far. These states are Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka and Kerala. Ladies and gentlemen, not so long ago, 7 states accounted for 83% of the cases. Today, 5 states are accounting for 67.16% of the cases. There are other states where COVID is surging. Andhra Pradesh, we just told you. Runjun Sharma now joining us with more details. Runjun, so clearly there is going to be this continued push towards vaccination because India will have to break all sorts of records as far as vaccination drive is concerned to get on top of this pandemic and this virus, because only aggressive vaccination is going to help fight this virus.
Definitely, Anand. In fact, the Tika Utsav has really worked, because if you look at the number of people who are being vaccinated every day, that's gone up. So Tika Utsav started on the 11th of April till the 14th of April, which is now. In fact, when you look at the average, before the Tika Utsav, we were vaccinating roughly around 30 lakh people daily. But first day of the Tika Utsav, we vaccinated 45 lakh people. It then picked up more speed, around 63 lakh people on the second day, 70 lakh people on the third day, and 14th of April, around 70 lakh people roughly again. So in total, during these 4 odd days, Anand, 5 days, we've been able to vaccinate over 1.28 crores. So that's a huge number. And in fact, this push is required also in the backdrop of the rising cases. In the last 24 hours, we've reported over 2 lakh cases, Anand. In fact, 9 days straight we've been reporting over a lakh case every single day. For the last 2 days, we've been reporting in 24 hours more than 1,000 deaths. So the number is extremely grim. The number is extremely worrying. The positivity rate also in the country going up, as it is in several high burden states, for example, Maharashtra and Delhi now. So yes, the Tika Utsav have worked, but we need at least 70% of our population to get vaccinated to be able to break the chain of transmission. And that, Anand, is going to take time, and which is why we're seeing government expedite the process of bringing in more vaccines in the country. We already have Covaxin, Covishield. We've got approval for Sputnik V, which is going to take a couple of months to reach the vaccination centers. But apart from that, the government is expecting to bring at least 3 to 4 more vaccines by the month of June or July, Anand.
Well, absolutely. More the vaccinations, perhaps the greater the chance for us to build a certain level of resistance, immunity against this virus and also break the chain. But 70% of the population is a huge ask, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking at least about, if not 70%, but 55 to 60 crore people out of a population of 1.38 billion people who could be eligible for this vaccine and who should be vaccinated over a period of time. It's going to take time, and that's why continue to wear a mask, continue to observe all the protocols. Runjun, thank you for your inputs. We're going to take a very, very short break, but on the way out, we present an informative talk by a renowned medical oncologist, Dr. Ullas Batra. He will guide us about the early signs and symptoms of lung cancer. Dr. Ullas will also make us aware about when we should respond to these symptoms and visit our doctor for consultation. This lung cancer awareness is issued in public interest by AstraZeneca Pharma India Limited.